What's going on, family? It's the Entertainer Motivated Educator Lucky Murray back with another Lucky Murray podcast sponsored by Patreon.com. That's patreon.com/Lucky Murray. Today, I am going to do a free podcast strictly for YouTube. Usually, I just drop the clips and then I will want you to go to the Patreon to kind of support me to check it out. But this week, I could not necessarily do that because, this week was crazy. Birthday was happening. Basketball season started. If you guys don't know, I coach basketball. So this is probably my busiest time of the year during basketball season. The off season, I'm still busy, but I'm not as busy as that. So right now we're going to talk about South Carolina versus Clemson. They playing tonight in basketball. The rivalry continues. We also going to talk a little bit about the South Carolina-Florida game, which is tomorrow at 4 p.m. And yes, your boy Lucky Murray is probably going, I don't know if I'm going to live stream it just yet because of some fact. It's kind of funny when I live stream, but I may end up doing it anyway to kind of see. So look out for that announcement tonight as I plan ahead. But we also going to talk about injuries real quick. Marshawn Lloyd may not be ready for the game tonight. So if you like this content, you want to support it, man. Like I said, I got to pay the bills. Go to patreon.com/Lucky Murray. The link is in the description. Also, you can see it on the screen as well. So let's get into this. Man, it's not going to be a long podcast, brother, because I just need to just get it done, man. I got to head out sooner rather than later. All right, so to top off the first story, I'm only doing 3 stories a day. We're going to talk about that South Carolina versus Clemson matchup that's happening. This is the thread. So here's what it says. The South Carolina basketball rivalry game against Clemson is here. And much earlier than usual, the game 2 of the season for both teams. Gamecocks 1-0 and the Tigers 1-0. The South Carolina struggled. Let South Carolina State get back in the game. I was in the process of watching the game. They look like they can gel. G.G. Jackson is a monster. 6'9" monster. Yes, he's one and done. You need to watch G.G. Jackson. Why? Because he's not going to be in Columbia for long. But I love the fact that he's paving the way for other people in South Carolina, especially Columbia natives, to know that, hey, look, listen, you can be a high caliber player and make it playing at home. But anyway, so it says, while the Gamecocks hold a 91-80 edge in the rivalry series, the results haven't been so hot for the teams in recent seasons. The Tigers have won 4 out of the last 5 games and 6 of the last 9. It's been a while since South Carolina beat Clemson in the Colonial Life Arena 2, with the last victory coming on November 19th of 14. Right. Last season, South Carolina were down several top of the players due to COVID protocols and lost 78-56 in Little John Coliseum. Tonight, the Gamecocks have 2 of the most important players who could at least be limited. Post player Benjamin BV, that's what I'm gonna call him, who did not participate in shoot-arounds earlier today, is nursing a foot injury. Guard. I forgot how to say that. Is it Munchie? I think it's Munchie Johnson tweaked his ankle in the opening game against SC State. It seemed like a very bad injury on the play. He was going up for just a fast break, tweaked his ankle, kind of fell down, threw it off the backboard. GG came and slammed it in. He tried to run back on the court, couldn't really do it. They had to call a timeout after SC State shot and made the 3-pointer. He went to the locker room, right? So I'm probably gonna do a little breakdown of the game tonight. Be ready and be posted. So like this year, I'm gonna try to cover more of the South Carolina men's and women's basketball team, and also some of the local basketball situations in the state. So while football season is really doing well, I am going to do my due diligence in covering this team this year. I wasn't really excited about these teams in previous years, especially the basketball team, the Frank Martin era, but I believe that South Carolina does have the edge, and I believe that they're building some things and get some things going. Don't take too much stock in the fact that they first game ever with 8 new players on the roster that they won by 3 against SC State. Again, basketball is one of those sports that if you don't come to play, you can lose, and you can lose, in an instant. So I'm looking forward to that, man. Let's get into this real quick, man. To say the least, man. This injury report about Marshawn Lloyd. Yeah, I hate it for Marshawn because he was looking like, man, this dude was going to be the man that was projected to be when South Carolina recruited him and wanted to recruited him, and what he was doing in high school it started to play in fruition this year. It seemed like this year he was right back healthy after the torn, I think, ACL his freshman year. But let's talk about this real quick, shall we? So here's what it says. It says, South Carolina football may not be without a star running back, Marshawn Lloyd, again this week in the season. SEC East matchup against Florida. He didn't play last week against Vanderbilt. Lloyd did not travel for last week's game against Vanderbilt after suffering a quad contusion early in South Carolina's loss to Missouri. South Carolina coach Frank Beamer said Lloyd practiced Thursday, but said there is no decision on whether he will be able to win the Gamecocks 6-3, 3-3, and the SEC takes on Georgia 5-4, 2-4 in Gainesville on Saturday, 4 p.m. SEC Network. Right? It says the sophomore, and it's funny that he's a sophomore, leads South Carolina scoring with 11 touchdowns, 556 rushing yards, and 163 rushing yards. Right? Receiving yards, In his limited appearance against Missouri, he recorded 30 of the Gamecocks' 32 rushing yards. That's crazy that he recorded most of our rushing yards that game. If he would have played, would he made a difference? I'm not 100% sure. Still, the offense managed to put together a solid rushing performance without him against Vanderbilt. Tight end Jaheim Bell lined up at running back most of the game and finished with 58 yards, 16 carries. Wake Forest transfer Christian Bill Smith scored the team's lone rushing touchdown on a 52-yard carry, right? So David Spalding is out for the rest of the year, and defensive BJ Gibson will also miss the game against Florida with the hamstring injury. And then we've been lacking in the defensive back end. Cam Smith is injured. RJ what's RJ Reddick? I believe transfer. So with that being said, man, it is going to be we're going to need all hands on deck. Can we beat Florida? Yes, we can beat Florida. But it's going to take a lot to do so. I'm not saying that we have to, we're going to have to play our best game. They have to play the worst game. No. When I say a lot, means that we have to, really be consistent on offense. D, stop the run and also stop these deep passes. And play a complete game of football. Typically, when the defense show up, the offense don't show up. Typically, the offense show up, the defense don't show up. Typically, the special teams show up. Either side of the ball may not show up, or one may show up, the other may show up. If we can really get 3 phases of the game down, I believe that we will have a victory against the Florida Gators tomorrow down there in Gainesville to get our 7th win of the season. Can't y'all believe that, man? 7 wins already, 7-3. 7-3. Whew. That looks pretty. 7-3. Woo. Imagine if we can go beat Tennessee next week. Wish for thankful people. Let a brother dream. Last but not least, let's go over the story real quick. We're going to talk about the final predictions that 24/7 Sports has. I'm sorry. Yes, it's a very, very short podcast. Typically, my podcasts are 20 minutes long, but I wanted to give something to you guys because I didn't want to leave y'all empty-handed. So let's go, man. The final prediction. So it says the South Carolina football team is looking for its 3rd straight SEC road win for the first time since 11, which included victories over Georgia, Mississippi State, and Tennessee. The stretch would include Kentucky, Vanderbilt, Florida, should the Gamecocks 6-3 be able to go on the road and take down the 8th-point favorites, right? The Gators last won at Ben Hill Griffin Stadium in 2014 and also pulled off defeat 4 years prior. This happened to be the only 2 wins for the Gamecocks at the Swamp. But second-year head coach Shane Beamer is looking for a 2nd win in as many chances against Florida, right? Here, we're going to give our final predictions for Saturday game, right? So, the final prediction, because they're saying the health of Marshawn Lloyd is not going to be there. Florida 37, South Carolina 24. So, what I think, man, haven't seen a lot of Florida football, so I'm not even going to hold you to say that, yeah, South Carolina should win. I'm not sure. But what I am going to tell you is this, that if we play the game that I know we can play, and if we play that game tomorrow, we should be in good positions to win the game. Will we win? I don't know. But are we capable of winning? I believe so. But because of the injuries in the backfield, and we're very slim on that end as well, because our inconsistencies as far as the offensive game goes. If we smack him in the mouth early, like we did against Texas A&M, I believe we have a shot. But if we don't and manage to let Florida beat us, I believe this may be our last win of the season before the bowl. I'm not saying that we can't beat Tennessee. I'm not saying that we can't beat Clemson. But I believe this momentum against Florida will at least elevate us to, like, listen, man, we can actually, go and avenge this Missouri loss. I'm not saying that Missouri is a bad team, because they're not. But Kentucky beat Missouri. You know what I'm saying? Like, I believe that we laid the egg against Missouri. Let's go and get a dub against Florida. So I'm excited to see the game, and I know you're excited too as well. But let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. This is the Lucky Murray Podcast. This is the free joint sponsored by, patreon.com/Lucky Murray. If you want to support the content, man, please go there as well. I drop my weekly podcast every single week, man. Hey, Patreon family, I got something for y'all special tomorrow. I may do like I'm going to do something for you guys. But once again, it's entertaining, motivate, educating, and please don't forget all three. Lucky Murray back with another Lucky Murray Podcast. You let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. But like always, until next time, people.